Thank you for joining us here at One Kingdom Worldwide as we share the greatest love story ever told in support of the God-led life. Welcome to Section 1, Essential Scriptural Context that has been lost down through the ages. At the end of the last episode, we were asking the question, what do I do with people I can't trust? What do I do with these people that I have a relationship with? How do I see what the Father is doing and do likewise? As a child of the Most High God, number one, I walk in His attitudes. I desire to accomplish His fruit of the Spirit. And then I ask, Father, what would you have me do? So there's a process that I'd like to show you. You're going to fail a lot in the beginning, but more and more you're going to succeed. More and more. Less and less. And you'll feel the pleasure of God, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, encouraging you to keep it up. So in order for us to continue, we're going to have to go through a little bit of what we did last time. Very important stuff, because this is heart stuff. And our tendency is going to be to do that stuff. And so to help you take in, again, the most important points, we're going to blend last time into this time. So be patient with me. This is important. So what is step one? Be a Talmid, not a disciple. It makes all the difference. Become more and more like Jesus. He said, I only say and do what the Father gives me to say and do. I see what the Father is doing, and I do likewise. In the Garden of Eden, God gave Adam and Eve information, and then let them choose. God is a choice giver. God is an information supplier. So the first one, I only say and do what the Father gives me to say and do, is about relationship with Him. The second one is not so much about relationship with Him as it is with others. What did God do in Eden? He gave him the information. So what do we do with others? God did not control us in the Garden of Eden. God has never tried to control us, ever. God says you can do anything you want. You can become anything you want to become. I'll allow it. If you want separation from me, I accept it. Become one who's trying to control people, and you're rejecting God. Become one who's sharing information with people, and you're building trust, and you're building relationship, and you're building opportunity to share with others the love that God first showed us. So the more and more I become a Talmid of Jesus, the more and more I walk in these attitudes, the more and more this is what I produce. I'm still going to run into these people, aren't I? What do we do when we run into a rejecter? Well, number one, we have to remember that once they were small, once they were innocent, once they were just brand new children of the Most High God. But what always happens is that the enemy arrives to steal away our innocence and to get us to believe what he tried to tell us from the beginning, that God's not trustworthy. He can't be good to allow these things to happen to people. And look what happened to you. I think most people have found their way into a depth of love relationship with somebody, and along the way found that they knocked out that first basic building block of trust by doing some foolish thing that took away trust, therefore took away depth of love and intimacy, transparency. And so when that's going on in our lives, we have a decision to make because we've made an assessment. Now, I'm a Talmud. I'm trying to produce fruit, and I can't trust you. Now what do I do? Well, we were raised as children to recognize the danger, come to judgment, and isolate ourselves, separate ourselves from the danger. And as children, that was wise. But not once we become a Talmud. Once we become a Talmud, what we instead have to do is recognize that it's all about relationship. As far as it's up to us, that we have quality relationships with people, that they can trust us and we can trust them. So when something's happening where we see that we cannot trust them, what do? Judgment? Isolation? Separation? No, no, no. God never gave up on us, and we never give up on anybody else either. I see what the Father is doing, and I do likewise, Jesus said. So I continue to be available, but I also have to provide the information as God has done forever since the Garden of Eden. So first I make an assessment, and then I say I'm not going to go this way. And in light of my assessment, I am going to be becoming more like Jesus in the way I respond. I'm going to have compassion for their plight. I'm going to recognize that they were once just a few years old and innocent, 4, 5, 6 years old, and it was a beautiful thing to behold. And that someday, sometime, some way, over the years, the enemy took away their innocence, and they began to hide, alone and hidden, protecting themselves, isolated, separated, out of fear. And what we need to do is what God has done for us, is to help them recognize that trust can be restored. And we have to share that information. So I share that information as I look at them in compassion for their plight. And I have sorrow on them, just as Jesus said. Sorrow. In the Beatitudes, mercy. In the prayer Jesus taught us, forgiveness. What do? I ask God. Because Jesus said, I only ever say and do what the Father gives me to say and do. And so now I pray. I'm in conversational worship. God, Father, you know I don't. Is this something for me to do? What would you have me to do? Number one, I agree with you for your will to be done in their life. And so I agree that heaven come to earth in this situation and in their lives. I agree with you for that. Now, is there something you want me to do? Is there something you want me to say? Because I only want to do and say what you give me to do and say. And then because I see what you're doing and I do likewise, I want to know, how should I respond in this situation that we might have quality relationship? This is a big deal. And we'll talk about it in the next episode. So thank you for watching. Be a Talmud. And we'll keep talking about what that looks like in the world of relationships and how it is that we can work to be available for quality relationships with everyone. Although many will reject and run. See you next episode.